You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Mina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Simply. I'm being see, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay.
Sabu just sabotaging you.
Yeah. He sure did.
Hijacking.
Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
What up, everybody? This is the People's Babusha, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
What's up, everybody? It is the hottest flame, the realest Hogan, the bionic baddie, Kiera Hogan, period, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula. The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim,
You're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Izzy Marino.
Heyo, this is Jack Cartwheel. You are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Get it? Got it.
It's a tradition brought back to life after over a decade that started all the way back in 2005, where Team Nash took on Team Jared, and you go from there when it was Team Angle versus Team Cage, and it was Beer Money Incorporated and Team 3D. Under many facets has this cage structure taken the TNA scene. It is the only show where every match takes place inside the steel cage, as Chicago will be under lockdown. And this is simply predicting TNA Lockdown. So welcome everybody to episode 180 and welcome into the discussion. Hello everybody and welcome back in here to the Simply Reliable Studios in conjunction with the Aaron Briff No DQGals YouTube channel for another episode of Simply Predicting. You know what this is, for I am the Simple Man, the Simple Brand, the voice of SRS, forever grateful for all things professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noah Foster. So thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or PayPal the patch, as simple as that. And of course, your opinions matter too. As we talk about the matches, please let your opinions be known in the chat as well. Safet and Matt, good to see you. And as always, stay tuned if you're part of the TNA League to leave your impact, as of course the Predictions League form will be available once the stream concludes across all the comment section on the respective YouTube channels and my social medias some point in the morning. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce tonight's illustrious panel. It is truly a Simply Reliable Studios crew, the Triforce of the SRS, if I'm being honest here. As I am with the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, Mr. X Division version 1, and Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, Avatar Man for the evening. So let's go ahead and see how everybody's doing. First and foremost, JJ, good to see you. How are you? And how are you feeling about the return of TNA Lockdown?
Well, good to be seen. As always, got to get the shtick in there.
Always.
I'm looking forward to Lockdown. The only thing that would make it better, though, is if it was 6 sides of steel.
If only.
You know, that's the only thing that could make it better. But there's some solid matches on this card. There's some stuff that I'm really looking forward to. There's some stuff that's got me scratching my head.
You me both.
You know, Trey Miguel versus Special Agent Zero.
Well, that's countdown.
But I mean, there's some interesting stuff here. There could be some sleeper stuff. I expect Cedric Alexander and Leon Slater to steal the show.
I'm worried that Leon's going to do something stupid.
Hey, but you know what? If we didn't have that stupid holy shit spot in the middle of a TNA cage match, would it be a TNA cage match?
Let's see. Kurt Angle. Okay, you make your point.
I
Damn.
mean, Elix Skipper, anybody?
Skipper. You had to bring that name up. I was just gonna say Kurt Angle.
You
Remember
know
when
what?
he-
That is the one that is forever ingrained in my
That's
mind.
fair. That's fair.
I don't care. I don't care how much TNA I watch. You know, when they go in and they examine my brain when I have passed on to another sphere of existence, Elix Skipper walking that cage like a tightrope is gonna be what's shown on the functions of my brain. So
the Don West call. You gotta be freaking joking. Anyway, all right, fair enough. Thank you, JJ. And as always, it's good to have the CEO of Ranger Wrestling, who just reached a 300 subscriber milestone. Congratulations to him, Walter Cruz. Walter, you're on the air. I'm Larry King. I'm calling you forward. Walter, how are you this evening?
I'm all right. Just came off from some hard work in the garden, and now I came up on here. But I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm on the same wavelength as JJ. I wish it was the 6 sides of steel, but it is what it is.
Yeah, limitations in the modern era where you try and bring back tradition to most of a degree, but you still haven't fully brought it back to where it was back at its most glory. And the thing, we used to have also lethal lockdown matches at Bound for Glory. I remember, I think it was Fortune. Y'all remember that faction, Fortune? Versus I think it was like a DCW like reunion team. I'm trying to remember the exact. I have to look at my notes here, but anyway, we'll talk more about that later. Because of course that's gonna be the main event because that's the name of the freaking show. That's the namesake of it. Dang it! But anyway, without further ado, like
actually, I believe I heard Nick Nemeth say on WWE Radio this week that the Hardys and the Nemeths is the main event.
Lame. But anyway, I'll talk more about that later. But who cares? This is my show. I'm booking it, dang it. And again, in my opinion, lethal lockdown is the reason that...
I mean, anything can change, but that's what I heard this week. So take it with what it's worth. I mean, in fairness, lethal lockdown, but can you really see Casey Navarro, you know, and some of the people on that team in the main event? Like,
take a chance, JJ. You ever heard of that concept?
I'm just saying. I've got nothing against Casey Navarro. Got nothing against anybody in that match, if I'm being 100. But you think about the star power and some of these other matches, and I just can't see that match being the main event.
Well, anyway, we'll talk more about that later, and that will be the main event, because at the end of the day, there's one thing that goes on longer than friggin' Hardys and the Nemeth, and actually has more of an invest, even if it's an annoying invest to me, and that is, can you beat the system? I think the system has had less versions than the Bloodline. Maybe that's why I can tolerate it more. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Anyway, without further ado, Simply Reliable Studios community, Sleepy Addicting community, professional wrestling fans, TNA faithful, and all others in between and indifferent. Let's get right into it. So again, this is a TNA Lockdown. It will come to us from Chi-Town this weekend, and we will be covering it here across the Super Reliable Studio. So stay tuned for our, of course, alternative commentary coverage, live watchable event. And I believe, of course, as tradition, we usually go about half an hour before the actual main cards. Of course, our predictions leagues and our outlook always focuses on main card content, which is why the countdown, Trey, kick his ass. Shout out to the 419. Good to see my rascal back in action. And the Righteous, they're still figuring stuff out. So let's go ahead and kick things off with what I believe is going to be the curtain jerker, because I don't even know if it's going to be a tag match player in a non-existent tag team division. But before we get there, sounds like a Canadian decided to cross the border, not named Scott Demore, but let's see what he actually brings if he's on his best behavior. And if you already try and kill that gimmick, I'm taking you off the stream immediately. Please welcome in the king of all foods, Nick Belief. Nick, how are you this evening? How are you feeling about TNA Lockdown?
Joe Hendry.
Asshole.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
All right, now that we got that one time, you get one, bruv. Two things I never got a chance to see to be dictating.
So totally just kills the gimmick for Walter and I throughout the show to like
pretty much.
try and work it in,
Yep.
organically.
Yep.
I thought he was actually going to come in here and offer something.
You know as well as I do, he probably doesn't even know what half the TNA roster is, and almost the entire TNA roster is on this show. All right. Anyway, let's get back on track after that annoying interference. Speaking of interferences, there's no bigger interference on my life than the Elegance brand. So let's go ahead and talk about them, as I hopefully this will be the only time I have to encourage and acknowledge them. Because the Elegance brand gets their rematch for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, the non-existent TNA Knockouts Tag Team Division, against Demon X Bunny. Hold that flop. Where's Rosemary?
Okay. Well, while you're thinking, I have a legitimate question for you. Which female tag division is more non-existent, the Knockouts or the WWE?
The Knockouts. You kidding me? Even I can acknowledge that. While they're makeshifting teams out of single star, there's at least 4 of them, and these are the only 2 that actually exist in TNA. At the end of the day, it's simple math. 4 is more than 2, so I'll give W that much credit, but that's still a low bar. That being said, Rosemary is somewhere gone and beyond in between the realms of reality and the undead realm. So apparently, Allie is going to have a different partner this weekend. I'm scared and I'm worried, and I feel like already there's going to be a reason I'm going to have to see my doctor sooner rather than later. Nonetheless, the Elegance brand with Pee Wee Herman reject that is making Paul Rubin roll in his grave get their chance at the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Again, it's rinse and repeat number. I lost count. Bottom line, though, this really comes off the fact that Demon X Bunny won the titles at Slammiversary, and, well, guess what? There's been no teams. They haven't defended them yet. But in the inaugural TNA Knockouts television tournament, one half of the Elegance brand, of course, beat Bunny, and the other half did beat the Demon. So I guess they kind of earned their chance here. And why one half of the Elegance brand in Maggie Lee, and I do care about Maggie Lee because I did follow her work in the independence scene, is also in the final, after their fallout with Indy Hartwell match and Elayna Black and Zara Brookside brawling. We'll talk more about that later. And now the finals, for those that don't know, will take place, I imagine, this coming Thursday on Team ATV, will be Jada Stone versus M by Elegance to crown the inaugural TNA Knockouts Television Champion. In the meantime, Heather and M, still annoyed by that. They now have a chance to once again become the, what is it now, 3, 4, I lost count. So with Rosemary gone from our screens in an obscene scene, who the hell is coming here to work with Allie? Somebody from Chicago, somebody from Canada, somebody from the past, the decay, maybe Jessica Havoc, Courtney Rush, Jessica. I have no idea what they have to expect, and I have little no interest in this, considering, again, what's the point? Where's the tag division? Can I just have Allie go after the TNA Knockouts World Championship? Just saying. Fever dream, maybe. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. As usual, if you got the date team, due to the length of the card and the size of the panel, everyone will say their piece. But I feel like there isn't much more to say about this, considering what's the other tag team? ... To be randomly created. Jody Fred, Gaby Forza, maybe. I think that would be freaking awesome. All right, so first and foremost, I'll just start simply saying, I don't give a damn if I lose the point or not. Fuck the Elegance brand. Demon X Bunny or X Bunny, yay Allie. Bunny retains, or Lord help my blood pressure. I don't want to rant that early on a Sunday evening with pizza and my friend in the background. I'm just saying. But honestly, this should be the opener. And usually the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships are, if not Countdown. Sad, really. Bunny for the win. JJ, we'll go to you next, and then we'll go down to the other point of the Triforce here. What do you think of the non-existent tag division? Where in the realms is Rosemary? Not to spoof Carmen Sandiego, who, as far as I know, lives on planet Earth. Doesn't live beyond that, I guess. And as far as the Elegance brand goes, it's been the most consistent thing since, well, pretty much since TNA became almost not my TNA. What do you guys say regarding this match?
Well, I'm going to make you happy because I do have Demon X Bunny for the win here.
Okay, then.
as far as who Allie's partner can be, Nick is mentioning Kylan Keene or Soo Yun in the chat.
Ooh, Kylan King. Shout out to my friend King from Cleveland. I like that, actually. That's a good shout.
But the person that immediately came to my mind, and maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but you mentioned how Rosemary is kind of in between realms right now.
Yes.
And there's somebody that we interviewed, a former TNA Knockouts tag champion, 2-time, I believe. And the last time we saw her, she was in the Undead Realm.
I think I know where you're heading.
So, could we see the return of the bionic baddie, Kiera Hogan, to potentially be Allie's partner, thereby freeing Rosemary up to be a singles, whether she wants to make a run at the Knockouts title or the TV title?
Fair shout. I mean, again,
I only thought about that because of interviewing Kiera and her mentioning that she's in the Undead Realm as far as TNA lore goes. And obviously, I say it almost every Simply Predicting. I don't watch a lot of the week-by-week television broadcasts for any company right now.
Same.
So when you mentioned that she's kind of bouncing between realms, that immediately triggered Undead Realm Kiera Hogan to me. So
I remember that
but
story.
I've got Demon X Bunny because I could kind of see them pulling the trigger on M for the TV title.
Yeah.
I'd prefer if it was Heather, because as much as you love Maggie Lee, I love me some Heather Reckless.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like them shorter and thicker, by
That
nature.
explains that explains the Via Hell connection.
But I almost trolled you and had the Chase U backdrop, but I was like, no, this is TNA. I don't need to incite his, rage. He is already going to have to deal with it when I do my show graphic. I don't need to have it in his face the entire show.
I already know you're going to do it for Heatwave, probably, if Via Hell's on the show or not. And I know that
Probably
that's
so.
That's Simply Predicting probably next week, Tuesday, after NXT.
But yeah, give me Demon X Bunny for this, and I will send the rest of my time over to the man who shares my brain, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz. Go ahead, Walter.
And I'll just add to the fact that this also came to the fact that the bunny went rabid, didn't bite their faces off, unfortunately, when she defended the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships in a handicap because Rosemary was, again, nowhere to be found. Ever since the loss to what I believe was either M or Heather, I don't know, one's taller, one's shorter. Ever since Rosemary lost the tournament, Rosemary has been gone. No one knows where she is. No one knows what's happening to her. I don't think the bunny even knows right now what shard or what realm the demon assassin right now is at. So that's really how this came about. And again, no other tag team. Walter, what you got to say about this? The floor is yours.
Retention, Demon X, and then I don't know where you go from here, because is there anyone else in the damn division? Because I think the Elegance have literally had a title shot the last 5 pay-per-views. Either they were the champion or they challenged.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. They've been a consistent, well, again, the size of the roster, let's just call it what it is. They've pretty much been, I think, on every single pay-per-view in some fashion as champs, defending champs, or going after the titles, or some sort of melee of madness. It is crazy to think about that. Okay, fair enough. That being said,
I still say with the recent signing of Gabby Forza, you put Gabby into the system and let Alisha Edwards and Gabby Forza go after the Knockouts tag titles, because then you got the wives of system members as part of the system, because Gabby is legit married to Bear Bronson.
I don't want to see Gabby as a heel, especially with that Boston freaking.
I love Gabby as a babyface too, but I feel like it would make sense to have her and Alisha as a tag team.
I'd rather see her and Jody Fred though, because that just seems more fun.
Didn't Jody just leave?
Did she?
I think Jody left and asked for her release not that long ago. If Datilla was in the chat, she'd be able to verify. Safet probably knows better.
Okay, who's the next person to go? Who's the next person going off the ship? Someone.
I think Victoria Crawford asked for her release. Or got fired.
Charles is
Sadeh.
Thank you.
There we go. Yep.
And Charles, I did send you the link if you want to pop in and join us here. It's not too late. We're only one match in, but I want to say during this past month that I've been doing Uber, Jody left, so it's been somewhat recent. She left. You know, it was like Tessa, Victoria,
Her name. Yep.
Jody, like all of them.
Yep.
Mara.
Yep. You know what? There's a reason why Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has become my new Thursday favorite. And guess who's right now wrestling there for the MLP Women's Championship? Danny Luna. Does that name sound familiar? Anyway, you're not getting a TED Talk or rant on me tonight. At least not for free. Don't put me solo like that. All right.
I thought we were about to get Noah going, man. I was like, dude, yes.
As much in the bygone life, I used to take the glasses off and go full-on rant mode, tear shit into stuff without zero fucks. I'm on blood pressure medications now. It is 11:30 past whatever time, Eastern Standard Time. And I feel like I need to use my brain cells towards something more worthwhile in investing my time and my voice, especially with work in the morning. But thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Then Safet also said, yeah, Jody Thread did.
Thank you, by the way, to everybody that's keeping me informed. Because, again, I don't scroll, I don't follow, and I can only keep up with so much when it comes to wrestling business bullshit versus real life priorities. And I got to worry about plumbing.
Honestly, most of these releases, well, we won't call them releases, but most of these, and especially when it comes to the TNA, but as far as people leaving, I've been being kept up to date by our own Pink Ranger, Datilla, because I'm out working, driving a good chunk of the day. So she'll like shoot me a DM and be like, hey, so-and-so just asked for their release.
Everyone.
You know, and then when I get a free moment, I'll see who it is. Like today, it was announced Ilya Dragunov is not going to be re-signing and has asked for his release. TNA, WWE, I know, but yeah, the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, is leaving WWE. And as Noah tries to get his words right, popping in from out of the sewers on this Thursday evening, Charles is here. How's it going, Charles?
Doing good. Tired as hell, but you know.
Okay.
Join the quartet when it comes to tired.
We'll get jackets and roll our names. I say it once, I'll say it again. WWE does not know what a good wrestler is or how to book them because you fucking over the former NXT. Nope.
Breathe.
Noah, I'm a do to you what you always do to me. Tranquilo. Woosa. Move on to the next match, good sir. WWE.
I'm still pissed about they didn't do Ilya and Gunther on the main roster either, Noah, but we got to get over it.
This news bit brought to you by Fago Firework. Moving right along.
Don't get me started.
You know what? That's fair. And as much as I would want to see an encore of that, I'm so damn fucking tired of an encore of this giant grumpy man baby and Charles' favorite person that he's the biggest roadie of. In what's being called the final encore, yep, they're doing it again. It's Alisha and Flop Dollar, AJ Francis. As I try and get things back on track with TNA. Fuck the Fed. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, pretty much over the last few weeks, we've seen, of course, Moose and Elijah go up against the clown of TNA, Kaz, and the biggest court jester, and I do mean biggest, Flop Dollar. There's been tag management fallout, and the freaking Timu Slick guy got freaking bonked over the head with a guitar. That was the greatest thing that's happened over the last few weeks. And basically, Flop Dollar is being really sick and tired of Elijah, while Elijah looks to walk this way towards the TNA World Championship. But I guess before we get there, he has to really bury this guy once for all, or brand him for guitar once and for all. On tonight's episode of TNA Impact, in the main event, in an 8-man tag, as it was a preview to some stuff, everybody pretty much crushed Flop Dollar. And, of course, the babyface side was left standing with Jeff Hardy hitting the Swanton Bomb on AJ Francis. So the bottom line is this. Take place inside the confines of a steel cage. And we'll see if that makes a lick of a difference. Can we please move away from Elijah and AJ Francis? For the love of Christ! Feels like it's been freaking 2 or 3 months with this. And I know it's only been a month, but this is daggum ridiculous. How about scratching your head? But anyway, I'm going to start with the roadie because I'm pretty sure I know he's going to walk this way. And I really hope we all walk this way. And we are done with this feud and close the door on AJ Francis and Alisha performing together again in the ring. So, Chase U alumni number 2, Charles, I lend the floor to you. Who you got winning this grudge match being tagline, the final encore?
Let's move away from this feud for I'm going with Elijah. This feud is getting ridiculous. Love Elijah, but can we move on from this? Have him go after, have a feud with somebody else. Please.
You know, people like Elton John and, you know, your favorite bands, they go city to city. They perform like 9 out of the 10 same songs, maybe not necessarily in the same order, and maybe they change like one song. But the definition of redundancy here with this performance that sells less tickets than any sort of concert you could think of, it's just mind-numbing to me that this is on TNA Lockdown. And the only reason that this has got to be happening is because now we're doing it inside a steel cage. Whoopee. What, is Flop Dollar going to jump off the top of the cage and that's supposed to be a big WTF moment? Whatever. It's still Elijah and Francis. I feel like people are sick of this match. Even the TNA faithful. I know I am, and I agree with Charles. Please, for the love of God, Elijah, fucking go on and actually go after the TNA World Championship. Walter, you're next. What do you got to say about this match?
I'm on the same boat. I couldn't care less. These two, at first it was about music, then AJ bought the rights to all the Elijah's name and music or some crap, and then yeah, enough is enough. I don't care. Hopefully Elijah wins and moves on, but I don't. Who gives a damn? Like what? This is almost like the knockouts tag matches. Like there's enough men on the roster to have different people go one-on-one. Do we have to constantly see these two?
Rinse and repeat, right? And formula as old as retconning the business itself, brought to you by the oldest partner of the business. All right, thank you for that. So we got 3 people right now that are looking to walk this way. And I guess the biggest difference is he's not going to use the smoking LED guitar, I hope, to break over AJ Francis' head. Although maybe that will literally break AJ Francis out of our existence before it comes to this type of feud. I mean, I'd be fine with it either way. JJ, seriously, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Your choice. Go ahead.
Look, I know it goes without saying that I'm probably the only supporter of AJ Francis on this panel. You know, I've said it numerous times. I'll say it again. Ever since coming to TNA, he's doing some of the best work of his career, both in ring, on the mic, character-wise, the whole 9.
I give you that.
He deserves respect on his name for what he's done since crossing the line to total nonstop action. And I'd say a good 8 out of 10 times I would pick him to win the match. This ain't one of those times.
Smart
I'm
man.
walking with Elisha or Elias or Ezekiel. You have a nice little family reunion here with all 3 of them. The 3 Caballeros. That needs to be a music video. The 3 Caballeros, the old Disney song with Panchito, Jose, and Donald Duck, except it's Elias, Elijah, and Ezekiel doing it. Make it happen.
Don't stop that!
I agree with JJ.
Oh, shut up, Charles! Fucking multiple faces of the freaking Ezekiel, Elijah, family, and freaking what the hell? That's crazier than anything I've heard of as of late in this ridiculous TNA. What? That's like trying to blink the lights out 3 times and have 3 faces of Elijah coming in brain AJ Francis over the head. That's overkill. Oh my gosh. And they're the same person. Ugh. It's like that Grande Americano thing that finally got proven. God, I hate. Anyway,
Look,
all right.
look, I have seen Elias and Ezekiel in the same place at the same time.
Agreed.
Now, I will give you, I have not seen Elijah in the same place as Elias or Ezekiel.
Oh my gosh.
But I've seen Elias and Ezekiel in the same place at the same time.
I'm gonna freaking do.
However, Noah, the last time I made that claim about Chad Gable and El Grande Americano, I was proven to be wrong.
And now he admits it.
I can't admit it now because it was proven to be wrong. But I will, just like I said then, until somebody proves to me that it's the same person. I have seen Elias and Ezekiel in the same place at the same time.
I'm gonna freaking film myself on this futon side by side in two different suits just to prove to you how this production works, where you know two men are the same damn person one of these days. Maybe
That
that'll
would
be the
be
next
fucking hilarious.
be the next Simple Man
Yes.
Reacts WrestleMania week. Stay tuned, 2027, folks. All right. Freaking PowerPoint, make sure everything's side by side in the line. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. Walk this way and walk AJ away, or lock him away, or both. Okay, well, that being said, we go from one clown to who I deem the jester, and I can't wait to hear his introduction of one guy versus my introduction of the other, and see if the panel is split, unanimous, or dynamic 3-1 or 1-3. And you know exactly, JJ, what I freaking mean. For the first time ever, two generational leaders of TNA wrestling, I'll give the man that much credit, will face each other one-on-one inside the steel cage to escape it. You're looking at that right. The only way to win this match is to escape the cage. It is, and I will start first. He is the face of the franchise. He has been TNA dedicated for the last decade, just celebrating his 10th anniversary in this company, turning down every other major promotion contract offering. He's been offered by everybody underneath the sun and then some. He is a 3-time TNA World Champion. Let me go ahead and say that again. 3-time TNA World Champion. A former X Division Champion. He is, of course, Moose. And he goes one-on-one for the first time ever
with the man who is the king of TNA, the man who was at one time declared the future of the business. He is a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, multiple time X Division Champion, Tag Team Champion, and Bad Influence. The future, ladies and gentlemen, is now, and the future looks good. Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, you decide which one is the better of the two, especially nowadays, folks. Just saying, consistency versus inconsistency. All right, that being said, that's neither here nor there. Thank you, JJ. Let's go ahead and talk about this. This is actually a match I do care about, considering the fact these two have never faced each other, actually. It's the first time ever, but what a unique circumstance. Then again, he has been running away as if he's got a yellow paintbrush down his spine. But nonetheless, this really picked up when, of course, Frank Kazarian had the King's speech shortly after Slammiversary. And his guest was Moose. As Moose, of course, talked about how he finally put away the system, beat them one by one systematically, including with the fact that it got personal when Eddie Edwards tried to instigate the family. That was a dumb move, bruv. And, of course, he says that it's not a matter of me going after a championship. It's everyone else who wants to try and follow or come after me. And Kazarian wanted to put his foot in his mouth and basically put his name out there to the point where Moose says, I respect that you're a foundation of this company. You're one of the OGs, but yet you never faced me. What was then called the future is no longer that in the present, as TNA's future has been going through Moose. And you can't argue that. So we finally got the two going one-on-one. After Kazarian ducked and dodged with the help of the giant clown of TNA, Flop Dollar, and then Moose and Elijah had a time match. You see why I put these two matches back to back. I feel like we're going to end two things here. Or maybe one, definitely, hopefully. And now we finally found, basically, if y'all didn't watch TNA tonight, Moose had a great talk segment. It was the face of the franchise speech. And his special guests were the audience, the TNA faithful. And he had a nice Q&A where it was about a few things. Who's been Mr. TNA consecutively for the last 10 years? The answer was Moose. Who's going to kick Kazarian's ass this Sunday? The answer was Moose. And a bunch of other questions where Moose was basically the easiest answer and the easiest quiz you could pass with 100%. Out came Kazarian, who tried to instigate him and insulted, of course, the town, including Wawa. I guess that's a term for something that's famous for whatever city they're in. I don't know. And basically, again, a little bit of jaw-jacking, and then he basically called him a cheap bullying insult, and they feuded. So that was your go-home angle, just to put that in perspective. And then, like I said, the 8-man tag, neither men were involved in the decision. So the bottom line, in his first time ever singles encounter, where neither man has to pin or submit the other, who escapes the cage, who has the strategy to success, and who gets their ass kicked more? And is this a one-up, or do we go deeper? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. And I think it's only considering the fact that we just talked about Kazarian and Moose, I think it's only fitting that me and JJ start. So JJ, let's start with you. What is your outlook on Frankie Kazarian feuding with Moose? Like, what is Kazarian to gain from this? And do you think Kazarian might be biting a little bit more than he can handle, considering we know what Moose has been doing consecutively? It is a fresh change of pace for both men. Neither one right now is concerning even anything regarding a championship.
Well, okay, let's look at this here. If Frankie wins, he defeats a former 3-time world champion. Frankie's only held the belt once.
Yeah.
So you would figure that puts him in line for another title opportunity, right?
I mean, yeah, sometimes.
Moose has been a former X Division champion, but he was an X Division champion that no one expected as X Division champion. And I know it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. The foundation of the X Division was built on. I love that part about it.
So you got the version 1 belt.
Moose defines that it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. So if he beats Frankie, he defeats one of those gods of the X Division. You know? I think the key for me here is escape the cage.
Same. I'm like, huh?
And it's like, so how do you book the finish here? If whoever is going to win is going to win by going over the top of the cage, that seems more tailor-made for Kazarian. Although you could also see Kazarian going out the front door and just kind of being a sarcastic little prick about it.
I think that's a more realistic possibility now that I think about it.
Whereas Moose, because of his size, because of his build, you don't really see Moose as the type of guy that's going to go over the top of the cage.
No, he's 6'5".
He's going to be the type that's going to walk out that front door. So that limits him a little bit. There's only really one way for Moose to win, where Frankie can still go over that top of that cage. If Moose looks like he's about to walk out, Frankie's small enough, agile enough, he can drop and touch first. Moose doesn't have that advantage. I'm going with Frankie here just because of sheer logistics, not because of personal bias.
I recently watched cage matches defined by rivalries, unique circumstances, and unique stipulations. Very few of them, though, was escape the cage. But those I did watch, it was after someone was bludgeoned and somehow willy-nilly fell and was considered the winner. As we know, whether this is entrance way or elevated entrance way, for those that don't know, escape the cage, you leave the cage, you win. one of the biggest examples of that I could think of is the beer money fallout with, of course, James Storm and the it factor, Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode was beaten pillar to post, and he was still declared the winner because at the end of the day, James Storm pushed him out of the cage when the door was, I think, obstructed or freaking compromised, I think is the word. The one thing I will say that Moose has not done yet to Kazarian, I've been waiting for it, spear. He tried to spear him earlier. He speared the turnbuckle patch. You just talked about logistics. You talked about the side. You talked about the tail of the tape. If Kazarian is lured into a Moose spear against that door, there's a very real chance he could spear both himself and Kazarian out of the cage, but Kazarian being in the front would fall first, thus being declared the winner. And I do think this is something new, a different direction for both men. I think there's a lot that can come out of this. And honestly, I don't think neither man needs to go out there championship right now, all right? Just saying. So based on the fact that this is a stipulation circumstance for a first time, that doesn't really prove anything about either man. Let's just call it what it is, folks. Escape the cage. That's as lazy as me getting up and walking out of that door that leads to my bathroom and bedroom. I think that this is going to escalate, but the only way you escalate against a gesture is if he tries to make a joke out of you the first time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I fucking kill you. And I think Moose gets him the second time around. But in order to see that, I gotta see Kazarian considering himself to be the smartest man in TNA, outsmarting Moose was a big dummy, blah, 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 blah. Cheap child insults aside, I am actually going with Kazarian is declared the winner of Escape the Cage. But this is just starting, and I'm very curious to see how far and how violent and dangerous this gets. I don't think Kazarian's been involved in a Monsters Ball yet, has he? Moose has. Just saying. I'm going to go with Kazarian here based on the fact that this rivalry is going into Chapter 1. Finally. But until they go one-on-one legitimately to prove the better man in TNA, this isn't over in my opinion. So for now, you actually got the two men on the top row, and this is a rare situation. Times of it, folks. Agreeing. Kazarian for the win. Walter, what do you think about this? And out of the result of this match, where do you see this going, considering the next big stop we have is Bound for Glory?
Yeah, I think we're gonna end up at a more than one match type thing. I think they're gonna do one of these things where both men climb different opposite sides of the cage at the same time, and it's a speed race to whose feet touch the floor first. It's going to be probably two referees outside the ring. One's going to say Frankie's foot hit first. The other's going to say Moose's hit first. And they got to go to 100 replays. But I think it's going to be Frankie by like a fraction of a second. I really feel like they both are going to hit the floor at the same time. But it's like Frankie's foot hit a fraction of a second earlier. So he's going to be declared a winner. Something like that. Some controversy which leads to a second match. So I'm actually going with Frankie too.
Santino, please, Santino, do not come out here, you son of a gun, and restart the match. Unless it's a legitimate one-on-one, because I don't know how crazy this needs to get. What's freaking Kazarian going to try and do to hold down Moose? Tie him with his freaking scarves in the damn ropes? Come on now, the man broke away from an effing zip tie. Are you kidding me? It's going to take a lot to keep Moose at bay. And I think Kazarian realizes what he needs to try and keep at bay, and I think he's scared shitless about it. All right, well, thank you, Walter. That being said, 3 for Kaz. So let's go ahead and see if it's a foursome. Let's see if it's unanimous. Charles, what do you think about this match?
And this is where I'm going to be the man on my own on this occasion.
Well, I'll be damned.
Mostly because I see Moose going after the world top because, you know, Nigga needs more challengers.
Well, I mean, he just defended against Jeff Hardy, so I mean, you know.
Yep. So I'm going Moose to win this.
And Kazarian tries to stop Moose from going after the TNA World Championship, and you get another triple threat that everybody loves. All right. I mean, again, it would be kind of funny to see Moose be the one to outsmart Kazarian, and then again, Kazarian getting more pissed off. And now I don't know what I really want. Do I want to see Kaz more pissed off, or do I want to see Moose beat up Kazarian more? I have to flip a coin and decide. Again, predictions aren't final until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night, folks, in case you're wondering. That's August the 23rd. Because, yes, this is a Sunday night pay-per-view. And the only way you can watch it, if you're not going to, like, you know, just want to listen through us, if you want to watch it yourselves, you have to buy it. And, yes, it's $40 exclusively on TNA Plus. Ridiculous. All right, thank you for that. So that being said, wow, I really thought actually this was going to be unanimous because again, first time you would go with the freaking gesture winning, But okay, good stuff, everybody. All right, either way, I'm looking forward to seeing how deep this feud goes and escape the cage. How much does Kazarian duck and dodge and try and worm his way out of this, no matter what? And Moose just keeps him at bay. How crazy does this get just inside the steel cage? Because that literally is the match, and of course, TNA Lockdown's cage literally surrounds the ring. There's no outside ring area. Let's also keep that in mind.
I guarantee as soon as the bell rings, Frankie's going to run the code, climb the cage, and Moose is going to have to pull him down.
All Moose has to do is jump up like Sheldon Benjamin. I think someone's in for a hard landing at some point during this match, too. Just saying. All right. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and move on from there. Well, since I did talk about the true Nemeth versus the lesser Nemeth and Jeff Hardy, let's go ahead and talk about them next. Again, why are we doing this again? Why? Well, nonetheless, here's why. Because we are. It is the Nemeths going after Matt and Jeff Hardy, who have been TNA Tag Team Champions for as long as I can remember since their return to TNA. Even though they just, I believe, retained the titles at Slammiversary and against the Righteous and the Righteous Deletion, though they're back on the countdown and they're attacking Rich Swann, I think. You try and figure that out, folks. But yes, recently Jeff Hardy took on Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship, and thanks to the lesser Nemeth, of course, Nick Nemeth was able to retain. So I guess they decided to go after the Hardys again, do that, or maybe the Hardys' ego was bruised, or maybe the fact that, well, let's see, since we lost Sinner and Saint, I guess this is, and we no longer have the Great Hands together, this actually is the only tag teams, I think, now in the men's division of TNA. Well, no, I take that back. The system and the makeshift teams, I guess they're in lethal lockdown, but literally this has been the tag team scene for the better part of the last 2 years. If you remember Rebellion last year when the Nemeths first beat the Hardys for the tag titles. Straight up, folks, it's another tag team championship match with the Nemeths the Hardys, this time inside the steel cage. So who jumps off the top first? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. Do we see the titles once again going to the Nemeths? Do we see Nick Nemeth becoming a double champion, holding the TNA World Championship and the TNA Tag Team Championships? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. And this time, I believe, Charles, we'll start with you. Are you still on the Hardys Infinity run, or does the Nemeths once again show off and tell the world just how spray tan, how good they are? Who you got leading with the TNA World Tag Team Championships?
I see the Hardys retaining. That's pretty much the best way I see it. And also, I'm still not used to Jeff Hardy coming out to his old heel theme again. Wait, somebody's wrestling on his own?
Yeah, again, continuity is a disconnect. But then again, TNA has always been an alternative for various reasons. But anyway, again, and of course, like I said, this is the last stop to Bound for Glory. So truly, I think it happened. And I did check TNA's website. Whatever. I guess it is the main event, but honestly, I don't care. I've seen the Hardys and the Nemeths main event enough shows in and out for the tag team titles. Kind of over it. Just saying. Kind of over it. Give a facelift for this freaking company if you can with whatever you got left. Maybe the Lockdown will actually try and do that. All right. I'm going to go with you, though, as well. I do think the Hardys are going to win. I don't see any reason, one, for Ryan Nemeth. He's little bitty to have a tag title. And I definitely don't see any reason for Nick Nemeth to have both the men titles in TNA, the tag and the world. I think it's almost like grasping for straws unless the Hardys go back to WWE and this is like your panic button because I guess Nick Nemeth is more dedicated. So I'm going to go with the Hardys retaining as well. As far as what's next, do we need another ladder match this time at Bound for Glory? Do we need a gauntlet match? Do we need something extreme? Do we need double jeopardy? I really don't know. But I just don't see the Hardys losing. At least right now, considering I also want to point this out. This is their second defense of those tag team championships since they won them at Slammiversary. The first one was Righteous Deletion. Now we got this. See what I'm saying? Let's go around the horn and see what the rest of y'all think. Walter, go with you next on this. You got the Hardys and the Nemeths.
I'm a little back and forth with this one because are we ready for a world where Nick is a double champ and his brother is there with him and they won't shut up and the the amount of ego and the magnitude of conceitedness that'll happen if these two people do this and accomplish this. But I mean, what else is there for the Hardys to do? You kind of like the knockouts. There ain't too many. That's kind of why Jeff had a singles title match recently. It's like, where do we go? Like, what else do we do with them? So
Here we go now.
but it's been done already. The Nemeth have proven that they can beat them. But I don't know. I think a retention, and then I guess we can give it back to the Righteous, and then let them have the run, right?
I mean, I would
With
like
the
to get it for who knows.
I don't even know that many tag teams in this division anymore. Like, I don't know where else the Hardys can go from here. They've literally done everything. But we'll see. I think they are going to retain simply because I don't want a world where Nick's a double champ and then I don't want to keep seeing his brother on my TV like that. Like, please, no. I'm okay with Nick. It's the little brother that I can't stand.
I'll say it once. I'll say it again. He makes the secretary from Monsters Inc. sound like a saint. All right. And speaking of Disney, shout out to Jeff and whatever meet him in the chat. Appreciate you too, brother. And again, life sometimes makes us forget literally what we did yesterday. I almost forgot that literally today, well, yesterday now, was Thursday. Now we are into Friday. So there you go. Appreciate you, bro. All right. That being said, it's 3 for the Hardys. So, JJ, let's see if you're the odd one out here. And I also do want to add, Jeff Hardy is currently dealing with lower back issues after his TNA World Championship match last week. He's not 100%, but he will be cleared to compete, much like he was clear to compete in the main event on tonight's TNA Impact. And might I add, he was the one that got the win for his team with the Swanton Bomb that uses your back on Flop Dollar. So again, they really haven't told much as far as who truly has momentum in these grudge matches. Let's call it what it is, because this is our first championship match of the night of 5 championship matches, which is kind of impressive. Well, second, but the other one I don't think even needs to happen. But yeah, JJ, what do you think about this? Like seriously, what is there besides the freaking Hardys and the Nemeth? And what else is there for the Hardys to do? But do we really need to hear Ryan Nemeth is champion alongside his big brother every week?
Well, I feel like it had to happen at some point.
Oh no. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm using the Emmanuel card here.
No, damn it. Damn it.
I am going, as much as I love the Hardys, I am going for Ryan Nemeth and his big brother.
Oh, bloody hell. JJ, you went.
Because of what Walter said. Living in a world where Nick Nemeth is a double champion. I want you to think about this for a second, because again, I look at things sometimes from a business perspective, and the Hardys put asses into seats. I'm not going to argue that.
I get that.
But Nick Nemeth is part of WWE Radio.
Oh. Sounds like the fix is already
Nick Nemeth as a double champion, as part of the recently launched WWE Radio, or I should say recently rebranded WWE Radio, since that took effect earlier this month.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's big for marketing. You know, right now, in addition to the PLEs, you can get Raw, SmackDown, and NXT commentary on WWE Radio. I'm curious if it's been thought about at all, adding Evolve and Impact to that mix on Wednesdays and Thursdays. That way you've got Monday through Friday, almost the same time slot, because Impact comes on an hour later, but pretty much the same time slot, having commentary on the broadcast. But Nick Nemeth helping to drive WWE Radio right now as a double champion, I think I think there's something there for that. And the Hardys, I always look at Matt and Jeff and I wonder how long TNA has them for before they go back home. Because we know they're going to go back to WWE inevitably. You know, with things like War Games coming up, with the Rumble around the corner, Mania in Saudi, and you know how the Saudis love their nostalgia.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the Saudis are going to pop for the return of Dolph Ziggler, but get the Hardy Boys over there at WrestleMania.
Well, maybe Raw would have a tag team division again.
I could almost see the Hardys going in the Hall of Fame in Saudi and then being put into a tag match at Mania.
Bold take. All right. It sounds like to me, though, you're just pushing. Go ahead, continue. Sorry.
But like I said, I'm just looking at it from a marketing perspective, and to have a current wrestler as part of your brand, and not just a current wrestler, but he is a double champion, I think that does a lot to elevate the visibility of your new rebrand. Which, speaking of rebrand, it was roughly 2 years ago that we rebranded ourselves from the Multiverse of Media, when Jeff got put on timeout with that little slap on the wrist, to the Simply Reliable Studios.
That's crazy. Well,
it was August of 2024.
Cheers to us that way. I will say that. Cheers to that. God bless everybody that, of course, has been part of the evolution of this journey. Encouraged by Jeff from Meacham. And cheers to everybody on the screen. Cheers to the 92 plus you that are watching. Cheers to all you in the chat. And cheers to another how many years we can continue podcasting and engaging in this. But it also just sounds like to me, I'm just furthering my conspiracy theory, Jesse Ventura style, that freaking TNA is about to become the next acquisition of the WWE. But okay, that being said, somebody had to be a little bit different. Some of these matches. That's why Sleepy Did thing is always such a dynamic conversation. But I also respect your point. I do understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, this is also where I'm going to be a personal asshole and say, I don't need to see an insufferable Ryan Nemeth as a champion right now. He's insufferable enough to keep up with his big brother just to be what his big brother is that he never will be. All right? Chasing his shadow. Yeah.
And I just want to say, take it for whatever it's worth, because you know me, I multitask during these conversations.
Of course.
Su Yun is retweeting a lot of TNA shit from back from 2018, 2019, 2020. Take it for what it's worth. We were talking about Demon X Bunny at the outset. We were talking about where is Rosemary? Who could Allie's partner be? Su Yun is retweeting a lot of TNA shit. So maybe it's the proverbial red herring. Maybe there's something to it. So just if it ends up being Su Yun, there's been little glimpses of it out there these last couple days. So
Su Yun's the fucking reason that the bunny lost her fucking soul in the first place, and Rosemary was sent to the undead realm when she previously didn't have a damn life. I don't know if I trust that freaking undead bride at all. But as far as I know, she's still married with Swan. Well, which Swan is still in wrestling? Well, there you go. Your time has come. I was like, oh no. Then again, we are verging forward towards the month of stupidity spookiness. So, I mean, I guess anything's possible. All right. That being said, we got 3 for the Hardys and we got 1 Nemeth. But at least I could say he's like Nick versus freaking the other one. All right. Thank you, JJ. All right. Let's go ahead and move on from there to our next match. Is again, the rest of these matches outside Lethal Lockdown, they're all for championships. So speaking of championships, and what really surprised me, and I'm so damn fucking happy they're taking a chance on somebody else. And with all due respect to your aspect of the great hands, you might want to just hold out for that hand, bruv. Because right now, the Order 4 is falling apart at the seams as Mustafa Ali is threatening and forcing and testing their loyalty. So then, Ali, do you still trust, or do we all want to believe in Hotch? Because Jason Hotch, who defeated Mustafa Ali for the TNA National Championship in I will admit, bang of a main event match recently on TNA television, must defend the title now against Mustafa Ali, who instigated this. And the way Ali instigated this was with family. And I'm not talking about the Order 4. When Jason Hotch won this title and celebrated with his lovely wife and this little girl, what a cute little family scene. And, of course, he went off to, of course, take care of TNA business. Mustafa Ali suddenly went in there to instigate his wife and his daughter, saying that Uncle Ali is going to take care of your daddy, but he's also getting his title back. And he ended that subtle conversation where he graduated Hotch, but also felt like Hotch betrayed him, took advantage of him. He was the one that got him that contract, but he took what was most dear from him. So now he's going to take back his championship. But don't worry. Daddy will always come back to take care of his little girl. Place the hand on his wife's knee. That's a big no-no for anybody in and out of family. You don't fuck with another man's wife in any capacity. Kayfabe or not, period. Which led to Jason Hotch confronting Ali, pushing him against the wall. Ali, being subtle, freaking politician as he is, pulling the strings as anybody does from the freaking Capitol. If you know, you know, folks. As a politician is about as freaking two-sided as a two-sided coin. Take him or leave him. Basically, Ali's like, you want me? Hey, you don't put your hands on me until lockdown. You get me this Sunday for the TNA International Championship. So basically, Ali goaded Hotch in what was going to be inevitably his rematch into this Sunday and made it more personal. But it became even more personal when Skylar was trying to be the voice of reason. You know, JJ's had a great hand. And basically says, what are you doing? Basically, misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? You're fucking kidding me? And of course, we've also seen the file with Tasha Steelz and the new Secretary of Strategic Operations, Mila Moore. So much so, Tasha Steelz cost Ali, technically, during that championship match when she took Ali's feet off the ropes and Mila Moore and Tasha Steelz brawled. That being said, we did see Jason Hotch, John Skyler. They did go one-on-one on the behest of Mustafa Ali, encouraged by Mila Moore. Tasha Steelz stuck to her stomach. And it ended with a subtle warning, thanks to Special Agent fuck you, now you got me doing it. Special Agent Zero. And basically right now it is all mental warfare on behalf of Mustafa Ali. So that being said, he expects a pledge of loyalty from John Skyler and Tasha Steelz. And he got a bit of that this past night on TNA Impact. And as you can see, whether they're inside the ring or outside the cage, they will be in Mustafa Ali's corner. So, is the Order 4 still a united unit? In Ali, do they trust? Or are we finally seeing these people rise up? Anarchy, down with dictatorship. Does Tasha Steelz and John Skyler say, fuck you, Ali, buy Mila Moore, screw Agent Zero, and somehow align with Jason Hotch, and we have a new unit of Freedom Rebellers? And does Jason Hotch still leave the TNA International Champion? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. Walter, I'm going to start with you on this one. Jason Hotch just won this time. Mustafa Ali held it for quite a period of time. Also, Trey Miguel, by the way, folks, he just came back this past Thursday night on TNA Impact. And he also got the win for his team against the Order 4 and Mustafa Ali until Special Agent Zero came in post-match and tried to assault the man. Until, of course, Jada Stone came down for the saber weapon. So, Walter, do you think Ali gets his title back? Was this just a fleeting moment and a waste of time, much like Sami Zayn and the cup of coffee championship run he had that he lost to Chicago, by the way? Oops, sorry. Or do you think that this is a new beginning, not just for Jason Hotch, but for maybe even John Skyler and Tasha Steelz? And we see Mustafa Ali go into his own different form of depression and rebellion against his former running partners of his campaign of propaganda.
I think he just had this title. I think it's too early to lose it. He just literally won it. I don't know if they're gonna go as far as the whole Order 4 break up and everything, but Ali's gonna lose this one. I think. I think Josh Hodge does retain. I don't know what happens to Ali. Although in real life, there's been some controversy surrounding Ali. Something that happened a few days ago. So maybe that'll flip it in his favor if they politically just want to look good. But I don't think so. I think we get a retention.
All right. Well, again, JJ, Ali already feels like he called himself the man of Jason's house and feels like Jason Hodge stabbed him in the back. And he demands loyalty now from everybody else. And clearly, especially Zero and Mila Moore are extremely loyal to Mustafa Ali. In fact, it was Mila Moore who kind of encouraged John Skyler to go into this one-on-one match. So again, we got a whole different form of an instigator here in this different press secretary. But I think really after Jason Hodge won this title, that told me a lot about the Order 4's future and how Order 4 might become an Order 3 sooner rather than later. How much longer does John Skyler and Tasha Steelz take the suppression? Is Jason Hodge a sign for hope, a new beginning, even at the risk of a contract, quote unquote? Because Tasha Steelz and John Skyler have basically done nothing except Sir Mustafa Ali, basically, since their latest tenure here in TNA Wrestling. It's kept them out of catering and kept them off the unemployment line, I guess. So what do you think about this? For me, though, I just think that this is a new beginning, taking a chance on somebody that's not maybe necessarily a mainstream name you think they could be a singles competitor. But I know very much what Jason Hodge is capable of, and I'm not just saying that because he's from my neck of the woods. Shout out to the 419, Toledo, Ohio. But I know you ad nauseum have trusted Mustafa Ali. You still trust him now.
I do support still and trust Ali. I will always trust in Ali before I trust the system.
Fair enough.
But I go with Hotch here. You know, to Walter's point, Hotch just recently got it. How long have I been advocating for Hotch and Skyler? Granted, I wanted them to be tag champs, not singles champs, but how long have I been touting their greatness? How long have I been wanting to see something more from them? And now we're finally getting it on some level.
Yes.
So I don't want them to lose it right now. I don't want Hotch to lose his momentum. And I think that you have him retain here. And maybe you do a division of the Order 4 for a little bit. And maybe Ali ends up respecting them for standing on their own.
A leader humbled.
Hey, we've seen it before.
Very rarely, but okay. I also just want to point this out here as you're going with Hotch to retain, but in Ali you still trust. As we left Impact, Charles, it was a mutual match between John Scott and Jason Hotch because, of course, their hands were being forced by Ali and Mila Moore. And they were having a great match till Mila Moore came down, instigated against John Skyler, and then Ali called security, aka his Secret Service, to beat the crap out of Jason Hotch to the point that, of course, Special Agent Zero led the attack, and Hotch was left out laying as Ali stood over his prone body. And, of course, Tasha Steelz, John Skyler, did nothing as Mila Moore celebrated this act executed to perfection. So, again, I think you already got your foreshadowing. That being said, Charles, right now, we have our own Order 4, and so far I'm not the Ali dictating you all with an iron fist. But I am curious if you all also stand unanimous in this. Are we all unanimous for Jason Hotch? You're the last one, Charles.
Yes, we are. I do not see a title change because if they give the belt back to Ali, then what was the point of taking the belt off him in the first place? Yep, literally. We've been doing that. We've seen that a lot more times I could count.
Right?
Yeah. And also, I do see the Order 4 eventually Ali going on his own at some point. Don't matter when, not if, but when.
You know, maybe the Great Hands have a better chance of becoming TNA Tag Team Champions if not part of the Order 4 as actual baby faces versus heels. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha Steelz, well, you can take that for what it's worth. I mean, she is a former TNA Knockouts World Champion, but that girl doesn't know how to control her attitude. All right.
Well, we need more people for the television thing and also for the World Title scene on the knockout side. So
I mean, they need more knockouts, period. They got rid of 4, I think, in the last friggin' 2 weeks, and we just got 1 added in Gabby Forza. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
Correction, they didn't get rid of the 4 asked for their release. Big difference.
All right, I'll give you that. But that also tells a lot.
It's not like they went in there and cut and, you know, we have come to terms with such and such and da-da-da. We wish them best in their future endeavors.
Okay.
No. There's a huge difference between cut and ask for release.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But that still also tells me a lot about this TNA locker room environment that's supposed to be a so-called family. All right. Well, that being said, everybody for Jason Hotch and Jason Hotch getting revenge on behalf of his family. And personally, I hope that his wife and daughter are at ringside to witness this and see Ali get his ass kicked. But this still should be a great match. And honestly, this could be match of the night because I know what Jason Hotch is capable of, and I know Mustafa Ali has to be capable of. Might I add, I just thought about this. Ali's from the Chicago area. Just saying. All right. Well, either way, this is definitely one of the top 3 matches I'm looking forward to. Good luck to both. All right. Well, that being said, Charles, I did see your hand, and thank you, by the way, to Private Messaging. What do you got to say real quick?
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Ali is from Chicago, so that could be an omen. We probably could get a title change.
I mean, Chicago, anything could happen in Chicago. I'm just saying.
Basically, no one back to back. Because there's
But
something.
we also have another match coming up in a little bit where one of the opponents is from Chicago.
Ding, ding.
That's true.
Yep, and that'll be the semi-main, because again, I still want to hold the TNA Knockouts World Championship as the cornerstone of the wrestling business, especially since it's finally back in-house. Thank Christ. All right, well, that being said, before we get there, let's go ahead and talk about the other longest legacy of TNA wrestling and what has truly been called the alternative. You talked about earlier, Mr. Version 1, and you're damn sure going to kick things off, because it's time to talk about the title that truly is about no limits. But what limits are these 2 men willing to go to seize the title, where one man wants to delete the other man from TNA X Division title history in one of the dumbest, weirdest, well, then again, this is TNA wrestling. They're known for both of those things. Weirdest stipulations, verbal and signed on a contract that I've ever heard of. Talk about erase a man from history. That is what the Prime and the system, Cedric Alexander, wants to do against Leon Slater. I kid you not. Regardless, it's a rematch for the TNA X Division Championship. This is the match where we're going to get the WTF moment. Calling it right now. All right, here we go. Bottom line, you all know the drill here. Cedric Alexander beat Leon Slater, thanks to the help of the system, of course, in a 2 out of 3 falls match, after they had a great gauntlet of matches. And, of course, the system shows us again why they run roughshod or the virus right now of TNA more than ever. Of course, we saw at Slammiversary and Ultimate X, Cedric Alexander, like a thief in the night, seizing the title from underneath and escaping with it, and has been refusing to let Leon Slater be anywhere near it. After a recent successful defense against Fabian Aichner, of all people, which was also very impressive, Leon Slater has literally gone back and forth, instigating and commanding Cedric Alexander to show exactly what merit of a champion you are. But all you've been showing me lately is that, you know, if you face me, you're just going to be, once again, Leon Slater's bitch. So that instigated Slater to scream on the mic. I kid you not, scream on the mic. And basically he says, you want this? You got to put something on the line. What I want from you is I want you removed from history. Your second longest X Division Championship run means nothing. It never happened. You never beat Moose for the title. You didn't become the second longest champion just a day short of Austin Aries. You never did nothing. That's what I want. He wants basically to be no pedigree over him with Leon Slater at the forefront. But that being said, Leon Slater has also said that he wants to be the face of TNA. In order to do that, he has to go through former TNA World Champions. But it sounds like, first and foremost, with the fact we got Destiny X returning this fall, maybe the X Division title is the way to go once again. Plus, I think he's sick and tired of the system. I know we all are, especially him and Ricky Sosa. Bang, bang. We'll talk more about him later. Well, let's go around the horn and see what you all think. And do we have a brand new TNA X Division champion? Or what some of my friends have been talking about, is this a whole different level of petty from a competitor standpoint versus a company standpoint? Hopefully, where Cedric just wants Leon Slater removed from his life. And with everybody talking about, oh, Leon, he's probably due to go to the Fed, or we don't know what his contract's going to be. Blah, 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 blah. Could this be his last match? Just saying. Other food for thought that I've heard in and out of my friends in ATW and Sienna's Broad Squad. But let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. And JJ, version 1, X Division title holder, I'm going to start with you. The youngest in charge does once again become the youngest, now 2-time X Division champion, or does Cedric Alexander get his wish and remove him from the X Division Championship book's existence?
Okay. I think what this one comes down to, and you're going to hate me talking about this, but I think it's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
And what would that be?
But I think what this comes down to is, where is Leon going when his contract expires? If Leon basically has a deal on lock to go to WWE, I could see him winning. Yes, it would give him a short second run with the title, but I could see him picking up the dub here.
I just want to add one more thing before you continue. As of tonight on TNA Impact, as I look back at the official graphic, they did update it. This match is now last man standing.
Good to know.
Continue.
If all signs point to him going across the street to Jacksonville, I can see him losing. Reason being is because WWE will acknowledge his records on TV. AEW will as well, but if WWE has gotten wind that he's going to AEW, they're going to want to act like he never existed. I hate it, but WWE is just that petty.
Accurate.
Tony can be pretty petty too, but I think that's where the real meat of this match lies. Because if what I've read is accurate, Leon's contract ends at the end of the year. I want to say October, November.
That's what I've been hearing from my friends as well.
So he can win the title here, maybe lose it at Bound for Glory or Destination X, and then go to WWE, debut in the Rumble, debut at Deadline. Or he loses, is kept off of TV, and maybe he shows up at World's End or Full Gear in a way to try to diminish him. I personally still want to see him go to the Fed. I want to see him go to the E. Just because I think him and Javon Evans were getting started with something that could be very special, both as a team and a potential rivalry down the road. And WWE could use more tag teams. So them as a team going against the Usos, the Street Profits, a potentially realigned Lucha Brothers, which I still think this entire tournament to challenge Roman in Mexico City is going to lead to Penta and Roman and be used as a catalyst to get the Lucha Brothers back together.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Because it'll probably be Penta and Rey Fenix in the finals. And the Usos will probably get involved there at some point, either that match or the Roman match, and set up the Lucha Brothers and the Usos. But I think there's some really special stuff for Leon and Javon to do over in WWE. I personally feel he'll get lost in the shuffle if he goes to AEW. There's less people in WWE that do the things Leon can do. There's a lot of people in AEW that can do the stuff Leon can do, which makes him less special. If that makes any sense. So I'm going to go with Leon here, just in the belief that he's going to go to the WWE. They don't want to erase him from history. They want to be able to acknowledge him once he jumps over there.
I mean, this could be the first domino of the system, once again, failing as a whole based on what we might be predicting here in our next match. But I do see what you mean with all that, and thank you for the outlook. That being said, he has a brand new X Division champion, and the Prime is left flat on his back as Leon Slater's last man standing with the gold. Thank you, JJ. Charles, let's go to you next. What do you think about this? I mean, again, we look at the long-term history of Cedric Alexander and Leon Slater. It's kind of been the X Division rivalry of 2026, ever since Cedric pretty much crossed the line and joined the system. But again, is this their last encounter? Is this their final encore, their last stand, especially with it being last man standing, pun intended? Who you got leading with the X Division Championship?
Two things. One, geez, no, it's like TNA not allowing anybody to break Austin Aries' record at this point. Like,
bloody hell.
Am I wrong? Leo,
Pissed me off that they didn't let him do it.
Or anybody. So I'm basically on the belief of no one's ever going to break that record at this point, because TNA ain't going to allow that to happen. And two, this match, Leon's going to AEW. I see it happening. Hence why they put that weird stipulation over Wraith. Because this screams off pennies by WWE as well. So as a result, they're just keeping the title. Raise their record from history and pretty much go, guess that's what happens when you're not joining the other company.
That's beyond freaking stupid. Why would you literally erase somebody from the books, thinking that what they did means jack shit just because they don't freaking share your IP? That is bullshit. But okay. That being said, you got Cedric, you got Leon. It is split half and half. Walter, let's go to you next here. Where do you stand with this? I'll let you break the tie for now with the other two. Do you got Cedric Alexander somehow lead with the champ? Keep in mind, we know the system is going to be busy the rest of the night, considering the rest of the system is involved, including Alisha Edwards, in Lethal Lockdown. We don't know necessarily the place the match is on the card, but I got to imagine this is going to be before Lethal Lockdown, considering this has been kind of the rivalry that has brewed out of Eddie Edwards' system ever since he finally lost to Moose. So do you got a new TNA X Division champion, or does Cedric finally prove in his own crazy mind that he's better than Leon Slater, and Leon Slater virtually never existed?
This is one of the stupidest stipulations I've ever heard of. Motherfucker, I exist in this world. I've seen this shit happen. You cannot tell me, oh, erase it from memory, erase it from history. It didn't happen. Motherfucker, I've seen it happen. That's like when the judge tells you in the jury that, oh, the jury would disregard what you heard because they successfully objected to something. Motherfucker, I still heard him say it. Like, this shit happened. Like, you can't twist it. Like, I don't get it. I'm hoping Leon retains just so I don't go off on a rant how stupid that would be, that they would erase him from history. It still happened. We all make the joke about the Peach, Randy Orton, RKO, and himself and winning a world title, but we know what the fuck happened. It's still in our memory. We were alive when it happened. You can't tell us it didn't.
Accurate.
That's part of what makes that joke so epic that Jeff and I started. You know, Randy Orton walking down to the ring in those god-awful peach tights, finding the World Heavyweight Championship in the center of the ring, ascending the turnbuckle, and posing with the belt. That is what happened at SummerSlam 2004 in the Air Canada Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Don't at me.
And we witnessed last year at Slammiversary, Leon Slater became the youngest ever X Division champion, beating Moose for that title in front of his family and going on an incredible run. In fact, he took the damn title to freaking Not My NXT, where the magic started with him and Javon, till they fucked it up at Bound for Glory. The less we talk about that, though, the better. There is some stuff left forgotten, or better off forgotten, because I'm not trying to rant, just saying. But I love the fact that Walter just went straight up, fuck up on this freaking thing. That was awesome. Oh, that was great. Anyway, Charles, I did see your hand, and I'm also going to say this right now. If you really wanted to prove to me that this stipulation had merit, they should have Carlos Silva and his skinny ass with the book at ringside, ready to cross it out with a magical Sharpie if Cedric actually wins, or I ain't believing a damn single sentence of this bullshit. There's gotta be probably a loophole here, not even done by Mark Sterling, in some way that Leon Slater's run and history is not forgotten if somehow Cedric leaves the title. And the reason I say somehow is because I don't believe it's happening. I think Leon Slater is going to retain. And the bigger reason I think that's going to happen is because I believe that he's more dedicated, and I pray that he is, because we need people more dedicated to this fucking place, to TNA. I think he's the guy to bring the milestones and the history to TNA wrestling. I want to see this man become one of the youngest ever, if not the youngest ever, TNA World Champion. There, I said it. And you know what's coming up this fall, JJ, that they decided to also bring back? Destination X. You want to remember what that show's known for? I think that's also known to be the show when Austin Aries won the fucking TNA World Championship from all people, Bobby Roode. Just saying. Let's go ahead and retcon some actual new worthwhile history. Forget about some bullshit and make something new worthwhile with Leon Slater, because if we're going to believe that TNA has any freaking young future and doesn't have a time capsule more limited than the Fed, then you need to push people like Leon Slater forward based on that work ethic and dedication. How you start that? Maybe finally let him do option C by winning back the X Division Championship. So Leon Slater for the fucking win. That being said, Charles, I did see your hand, but you guys before we go to our next match.
I was just waiting for you to go on your rant because I was justified. Again, Walter said everything. Like, this is stupid. And also, the fact that, erase Leon Slater's history. That also means, wow, we're just going to forget about AJ Styles ever returned to TNA then. Because literally, that's what it is. Too. Am I wrong? Because no one did think about that too? It's like, wow. So Leon loses, that means AJ Styles returning to TNA. Oh.
Oh yeah,
never happened? Never happened?
AJ Styles endorsed him, and I guess that never happened. That never happened.
What makes more stupid?
Picture, if you will.
Oh my gosh.
If you're gonna erase him from history, then Carlos is gonna have to go in the ring with a big ass mind eraser from Men in Black and flash it on the camera and make us all forget this shit.
Yeah,
The neuralizer.
I just freaking turn us off and like, good night, folks. This is over. Just kidding. Anyway, all right. That being said, I'll just upload a white screen effect at some point for that, because boy, does that make... Again, we've all followed TNA through the absolute batshit crazy worst nonsense in its freaking 24-year legacy. We survived Immortal. We survived Jim Cornette. We survived things on a pole. We survived the audience with belts and Jeff Jarrett whipping their asses. We survived the 6 sides with the Grand Slam Championship and a freaking chloroform knuckle duster by Damian Sandow. I don't even want to talk about some of the other stuff.
We survived Claire Lynch.
Didn't want to bring that up.
We survived worse and worse and worse and worse.
We survived Bully Ray, Mary, and Brooke Hogan.
We survived Aces and Eights.
Hey, look, the initial concept for Aces and Eights was good, but it ended up being NWO-esque. Once it started going too long, it got way watered down. But the initial core concept, I thought was solid. I was with it all the way up until Bully got revealed as the leader.
And they threw beer balls in the ring. That's how pissed off they were. I'm just saying. Or Hebner was.
I mean, get rid of Garrett Bischoff and a couple of the other like sidekick, B teamers. But hey, You had Virgil in the fucking NWO. You had fucking Horace Hogan. You know, you had Stevie Ray.
All right.
You know, you had Disco Inferno. Like, so I could deal with a couple of job guys in the Aces and Eights because that protects the big draws. But shortly after Bully was revealed as the leader, that's where it really fell off.
The only thing
Everything up to that was solid.
The only thing that worked out of that was
Agreed.
The only thing that worked out of that was Brooke Texmarker's biker uniform. Biker bitch.
Hello.
Hardcore. All right. Anyway,
I do like the Rex and anything though.
I said what I said. Black and high boots on leather. It's a pretty good combination on a certain type of woman. All right, let's go ahead and move on.
Calm down there, Noah.
Shut up, Charles. Let's go ahead and move on from there.
We know that Noah is an astute, simple man who does not have roaming eyes, but we also know that Noah likes a certain level of crazy.
Yeah, this is accurate. Brooke Texmarker, I mean, she was with that whole stint during that time. Yeah, she crazy. But also Brooke Texmarker, she was a hidden gem of the knockouts. And that being said, while the knockouts again have been the gem of women's professional wrestling since 2008, damn it, they are actually going to be my main event on this forum because I'm the host and fuck off TNA while you got the Hardys and Nemeth's 1500 9.20 inside the steel cage. I really don't give a damn about that. But I do give a damn about what TNA Lockdown truly is defined by. And going all the way back to the history, like I said, whether you were looking at Team Nash versus Team Jarrett, yeah, remember that in 2005. Whether you look at, dare I say, fucking Team Hogan and Team Flair Lockdown 2010. Whether you look at Team Angle versus the Beatdown Clan back in Lockdown 2015. There always was that unique match where it came down to everyone beating the crap out of each other, the roof lowers, covered in weapons, or as the title said, weapons! And of course, one team has the advantage. Let's talk about, for the first time in a decade, the return of Lethal Lockdown. It is the System, Alisha Edwards, Eddie Edwards, Bear Bronson, and most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, professional quote-unquote, taking on Jada Stone, Bang Bang, Sosa, Ricky Sosa, Vidi Vidi Vici, Fabian Aichner, and the blessed Casey Navarro. All right, so pretty much it is a tale of literally the System are the gatekeepers. Everyone else has to go through them. You're either with us, you're against us, but the System always works. Yada, 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 yada. But to bring it further down, all right, who did that? Stop that. You're muted. Botch.
That was an accident. I was multitasking, came back over, and I accidentally hit that.
All right, you're good, brother. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring up the speed on this. Case Navarro, of course, who was literally embarrassed, obliterated by the System. Jada Stone, Fabian Aichner, and Ricky Sosa all came down with weapons. I'm pretty sure that Jada Stone with a sledgehammer. Damn. And of course, Jada Stone has been at odds end against Alisha Edwards ever since Jada Stone bounced Alisha out of the TNA Knockouts television tournament, and Alisha couldn't hold up for it. In fact, Alisha Edwards, she just lost another match tonight against Harley Hudson. Hey, congratulations to Harley Hudson. I'm glad that she got a win finally. Maybe they'll finally push her as a singles person and make us know exactly who she is after speaking with Tracy Brooks. And Jada Stone came down to defend Harley Hudson. Ricky Sosa was encouraged to be recruited by the System, but he said, hell no to that, which of course led to him and Leon Slater becoming a tag team, getting the better of the System in tag team action. And Ricky Sosa has gotten the better of a couple members of the System at times as well. Take a drink every time I say the System, by the way. Fabian Aichner, of course, as I said, previously challenged Cedric Alexander for the X Division Championship, but thanks to the System's interference by Eddie Edwards, Cedric Alexander was able to retain, and that's what brought this unique foursome together, or five-some, because again, like I said, Cedric Alexander and Leon Slater, they're fighting for the X Division Championship. All right, so that basically brings you up to speed. Now, it basically goes like this for those that don't know how Lethal Lockdown goes. At random intervals, we will have, of course, individuals from each team enter the steel cage structure with the roof still lifted until all 8 competitors are inside. The Lethal Lockdown officially begins. The only way this match ends, of course, would be a pinfall or submission inside the ring, as they are, of course, locked down inside. But how many times, whether it was the Brian Kendrick or Jeff Hardy, let's call it what it is, how many times have we seen them escape the cage or find a way to try and keep somebody out of the cage, end up on top, and do something incredibly stupid? I'm just saying. I feel like that's going to happen here. Let's just be honest here. And, of course, this is the first time we're actually seeing, I'm pretty sure, everybody here inside Lethal Lockdown. So this should be interesting. And it's a mixed Lethal Lockdown, which makes things even more interesting because we know the Spark did a Stone. Girl's got some hot shit to her when it comes to her moves. We saw what she did against Mustafa Ali. I saw her when she, of course, faced Hazuki in Spark Joshi World, former tag team partner of Maya World when they were Spark the World. A little bit of history there. I also will tell you now, the team with the advantage is the system. Brian Myers got the low blow and the roster cut and was able to beat Fabian Aichner in a advantage match literally this past Thursday on TNA Impact, which means the system will always have a one-person advantage. So the bottom line, does the system fail inside Lethal Lockdown, or does the system work? And do these four potential upstarts of TNA's future fall apart before their future even begins? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. We will start things off this time with Charles. Charles, what do you think about Lethal Lockdown? Do you got the system winning, or do you have Team TNA winning?
Well, also, I have to say Eddie Edwards has been in lockdown more than once.
Oh, yeah, Eddie Edwards is the one person. You're right.
So he's the only exception to the rule here.
He was involved, of course, part of Team TNA versus Team Global Force Wrestling.
Which I think also Brian Myers couldn't have been part of that.
Yep, you're right. He was Team GFW.
So basically, there you go. So that's only two members of the experienced people in this match. I believe that's good, man. But still,
two members with experience.
And that Lethal Lockdown, by the way, took place on TNA television. What does that tell you?
Yeah, on the time where no one probably wouldn't be able to see it.
Well, it was on Destination America, it was on Pop, or it was on Twitch, or it was on... Shall I go on? Continue.
Yeah, it's fair. But I expect the Faces to win this.
Right.
It's simple enough to the point. But at least now, this is actually a proper Lethal Lockdown match, unlike that weird nonsense of Team NXT versus TNA, which pretty much almost the same match, minus the roof.
I was about to say there's a reason I forgot about that. All right, thank you. All right, so that being said, you got Team TNA winning.
Damn straight.
I feel like, JJ, in mostly the lockdown situations, you gotta go with the baby faces for one or two reasons. One, the heels usually have the advantage, and usually they try and take somebody out or lock somebody out after the fact. And two, it feels like Lethal Lockdown is a blow-off to a feud. Now, whether or not it actually means something going forward for the victors versus the victims, that remains to be seen. But more often than not, Lethal Lockdown, that's pretty much a babyface endgame in victory. So that being said, does that philosophy follow here? Why the system is more of a concrete unit, even though this version of the system's only been around since January, and we literally have four upstarts inside this for the first time ever. I feel like here, if they're not taking the chance with Jada Stone, Fabian Aichner, Ricky Sosa, and Casey Navarro, what are we doing? We're just throwing more people into the system just because we have them? There's got to be a point to this, right?
Agreed. Question for you.
Pass the answer.
Has Fabian Aichner ever been in War Games?
No.
Because this is essentially TNA's War Games. And I know for a while War Games was NXT, so I didn't know if maybe Imperium got involved in War Games at a point.
No, but I kind of wish I saw Imperium vs. Undisputed Era in War Games, but Worlds Collide, I still go back and watch that match. But no.
Okay, because if he had been, then you could kind of count that as experience also.
I was thinking about that when I was doing my notes, but I was like, wait a minute, have they been? Nope. Anyway.
I'm with you here as far as the baby faces tend to win these matches. Again, you can kind of look at the same thing with War Games.
Yeah.
You know, you go back in the old Crockett era, it was always Team Babyface versus the Horsemen. And traditionally, the Babyfaces got their victory, their comeuppance on the Horsemen. The Horsemen finally tasted defeat in the War Games matches.
X-Fortune won one of these War Games matches, just saying.
So I've got the Babyface team, Team TNA here, but I am going to say for whoever is on commentary along with you, which I don't know, you may be Joey Styles in it, but
Won't be the first time, won't be the last.
keep your eyes on the Deathmatch Berserker Bear Bronson. I think he's going to be the show stealer in this match.
I can definitely
You look at some of the shit that he does in the death matches in GCW. Be on the lookout for the Deathmatch Berserker here. I think Bear's going to look to shine.
I can imagine what weapons are going to be used on behalf of the system, and I'm just going to call it what it is: Team TNA Next Generation. So I don't even know what you call this.
Like if this was the main event, I would say look for the cage to be destroyed. But considering this isn't going to be the main event, got to leave the cage intact. But I could definitely see like Bronson and somebody destroying the door. Some kind of. But watch Bear Bronson. I think he's going to be the show stealer here.
It moves
maybe him and KC Navarro, because I feel like KC has really been out to prove something since returning from his injury.
Yeah. And after, separating from Nick Nemeth, I mean, again, he's truly on his own. But yeah, I get that. And it's also one of those things. If Moose doesn't drive Kazarian for the cage door, calling it now. Bear Bronson drives somebody for that cage door. Someone's going for that cage door. I'm expecting this cage to get wrecked, at least during one of these two matches. And more likely, this match would make sense because the system are going to have a plan to try and make sure they keep the advantage or keep the beatdown going. Because again, until all 8 participants are involved, Lethal Lockdown does not officially begin and no decision can be rendered. So who knows what the system are going to get up to make sure that is in their favor for as long as they can have it. Just saying. Freaking boat cars might be needed at some point. All right, that being said, it's Team Babyface, Team Babyface, Team Babyface. It's just a matter of, do we look at one particular person getting the win here that may need it more to prove a point? Because to that point, Walter, all the Babyfaces are out to prove a point, but I look at the longevity of the system instigating these men and this woman. It feels like to me the very first person out of this is Ricky Sosa. He was the first one the system, of course, tried to recruit it. They were talking about his potential. And I think this could be a huge moment for Ricky Sosa, much like Leon Slater earlier. So I almost feel like Ricky Sosa should get the win, much like he got the win last week, I think. And again, this is what really led to, of course, Lethal Lockdown becoming a thing. So, Walter, what's your outlook on this year's return of Lethal Lockdown? What team you got winning?
I guess I'm a glutton for punishment or a masochist because every time I go against the system, I end up effing up and they prove me wrong. And I didn't get out of my head, JJ, because I was going to say they do have Bear Bronson, and what he does in GCW is any indication of what he's going to do in this match. Holy shit, they're in for a long night because
expect color.
That dude's a beast in death matches or anything with a weapon. That's like when Batman puts Joker in an insane asylum. You just put him in home. He'll find a way to escape again any damn way. So all you did was just put him home. So it's like, yeah, let's let this loose animal inside of a cage full of weapons. Here you go. Yeah, but no, I think Team Babyfaces win Team TNA, and yep, I was gonna say it. No, that it's Ricky Sosa's to shine on that side. I think it's gonna be about him and proving why the system wanted him to join in the first place.
All right, well there you go. That being said, the four of us are unanimous with Team TNA being the system. The system fails again. Charles, you have something you want to say real quick before we get to what I booked into our main event?
Yeah, I was gonna say Bear Bronson is gonna be the most terrifying person in this entire match just because there's no rules.
Well,
And I
someone
could,
has to be. It's Lethal Lockdown. I'm expecting this to be barbaric. Come on now.
but I could back JJ and Walter every point when it comes to Bronson. Yeah, this is going to get very ugly and about to be terrifying, but also going to be great at the same time. And that's also a lot of those because I love the violent, crazy stuff.
Well, considering I watch Freedoms in New Japan and I watch Blood and Guts, legitimate Blood and Guts, enclosed steel cage, freaking multi-person melee where human flesh off men and women fall off the damn body.
Say it
blacks
right,
and everything.
Noah.
Oh, excuse me. Blood and Guts! Thank you, JJ. So, I mean, I do understand what you're saying. All right, either way, Bear Bronson, wreck shit. But, system... Once again, I definitely got Team TNA for the win. Okay. Well, that being said, before we get to our main event, just want to remind people, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Stay tuned for the forum once this streams conclude in the comment section on my social media at some point in the morning too, especially here on the East Coast for Friday. But let's go ahead and get right into, and there's a reason, well, multiple reasons why I say this for last. Let's go ahead and get right into tonight's edition of City Predict Things main event. Spotlight, please, or do we continue to ride on the dark side with the Angel of the Ring? As the TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line in Chi-Town with Chi-Town's own Elayna Black taking on Zaya Brookside. Now let's fucking go. This is the other match I was looking forward to for multiple reasons. For the TNA Knockouts World Championship inside a steel cage. All right, straight up. Ever since Zaya Brookside, of course, separated herself from Lei Ling Lee and seized the TNA Knockouts World Championship, she has been absolutely on a tear, including defeating Lei Ling Lee and most recently, the returning of Wendy Chu from NXT. Wendy Chu's match, of course, came out after Elayna Black and Wendy Chu went to a 10-minute draw and both were eliminated in the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament. That's why Elayna Black, everyone's picked for that title, got bounced out of round one. That is one of the dumbest decisions I've ever heard of. Should have been 15 minutes, damn it. Anyway, afterwards, Zaya Brookside came out, though, because prior to that match, Elayna Black and Zaya Brookside got into a bit of a jaw-jacking affair in what truly felt like to me about heels. But then again, this world of non-traditional wrestling nowadays, face versus face and heel versus heel can actually work. And either way, I've kind of been waiting for these two to tear each other apart, if I'm being perfectly honest. But nonetheless, right now, after the mutual respect shown to Wendy Chu and coming to Wendy Chu's aid after that little stunt last week, following that championship match that Zaya Brookside had with Wendy Chu, and these two have already been brawling with one another, and we're in Chi-Town, it does feel like Elayna Black is the babyface in this situation. Kind of bizarre to say that, considering the Elayna Black character that we all know. And I'm not just talking about TNA. If you know, you know, folks. Nonetheless, there was a sit-down segment here where Elayna Black said there will be no more fun and games when it comes to this title and this match. Brookside calling out Elayna, of course. Elayna, though, ready for her match lockdown. Of course, Elayna was the first signed knockout on the business of the suit, Daria Ray. And Brookside's confident in becoming that, if she's not ready, the greatest TNA Knockouts World Champion of all time, and will walk with the title. With two successful defenses already with the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and this one goal that Elayna Black's been looking for since being signed to TNA back in January, at the expense of others, including not limited to Indy Hartwell, just saying. And Indy Hartwell, by the way, is also bounced out of the tournament thanks to Zaya Brookside and Elayna Black's shenanigans of brawling that caused interference in favor of the Elegance brand. Damn it. That led to M by Elegance making it to the finals. The bottom line here, in Chicago, do they get a victory? Does Elayna Black finally seize the spotlight, the cornerstone, and become the knockout of the TNA Knockouts division? Or does Zaya Brookside show us that how hell-bent she is determined on holding this title by any means necessary and drops Elayna Black with a dark side DDT? Much like how she did against Wendy Chu, trapped in a sleeper hold, she almost passed out, but then in a cry of pure anger, she forced Wendy Chu's throat into the ropes and then caught her with a dark side DDT. The rest is history. Wendy Chu sent back to darkness, or evolved, if not both. But either way, do you have a brand new TNA Knockouts World Champion at the end of Lockdown inside a steel cage and Elayna Black bound for glory? But is it too soon? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. Now, it's not my NXT. It wasn't NXT. That was his girl in NXT. And this is her first realistic TNA Knockouts World Champion opportunity since signed to TNA. Let's not forget, in a bygone life, Elayna Black of NXT challenged for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and lost. In fact, I think she was one of the first ones to cross the line. And that's something crazy. It wasn't in Chicago, though. But that being said, hi, JJ. JJ, what do you think about this? Is this Elayna Black's time? Is this maybe the prototypical chance to see her as a baby face for the first time since the fall with her and Roxanne Perez in the Rainbow Bright Shit era of NXT? And as the baby face of Chicago, nonetheless, does she pull off a sweet victory, or is it bittersweet defeat, but still the respect of the Chicago faithful? Again, Zaya Brookside, one of the youngest TNA knockouts here, trying to get out of her father's shadow. For those that don't know, she's the daughter of one Robbie Brookside, who's a trainer at the NXT Performance Center. British wrestling legend, of course, in his own right. No, nobody's up there with Nigel McGuinness, though, or Nick Aldis, but that's a different conversation. It just feels like to me right now that this is a very unique match, and I love the fact it's fucking in-house, too, with 2 TNA knockouts. But I feel it's more of a testing ground for Elayna Black versus what Zaya Brookside has been proving since she went into business for herself, and I'm proud of her for doing that. That being said, you got a new TNA Knockouts World Champion.
Damn you, Noah. Okay, so I have been a huge advocate of getting this belt onto Zaya.
Same.
But I'm an even bigger advocate of Elayna Black, Cora Jade.
I figured.
I feel like if they're gonna have Mustafa Ali put Hotch over, you've got to give it to one of the hometown people. And I feel like the international title is still kind of getting established. It hasn't been around that long. It hasn't had that many champions yet.
16 months to be exact.
And what, like 4 champs, 5 champs?
That is correct.
So like you don't want to start hot potatoing yet. The Knockouts title has been around for damn near 20 years.
Correct.
I feel like you can hot potato this one a little bit more and really kind of build a big rivalry out of this, because at the end of the day, these are 2 of the young guns, the young lionesses, if you will.
That's right.
Of the Knockouts division. These are 2 young ladies that can carry the division on their back, much in the way that Colin and Gail did back in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not be upset with them trading this belt back and forth over the next couple of months. You know, like we saw back in the Attitude Era. As long as it makes sense, I'm here for it.
It's a dangerous word you said right there, but I also agree.
I know, but we've got a decent amount of knockouts, but we've also now got 3 championships, and I think we need to define. Keyword here, define the divisions. Okay. Who's going to be in the tag division? Which really, that should be just about everybody. Like, goddamn, let's throw these bitches into some teams so we can have some fucking competition. That's a whole other conversation.
Fair enough. Continue.
But we need to define the TV division and the world title division. You know, Zaya, Elayna, Indy. These are girls that should be in the world title picture.
I agree.
Allie, Tasha, Gabby, Heather, M. These are girls that should be in the TV division.
And M and Jada will define the first ever Knockouts Television Champion.
You know, throw Ash in the world title picture. I know you don't like her, but she, out of the Elegance brand, deserves to be in that echelon, whereas the other 2 deserve to be in the TV title picture. I think you can agree with me there. Doesn't mean she has to be champion. but she deserves to be competing for that title to define the division.
Reluctantly, I understand that point, and I do agree.
But let's define these divisions and let's really give some sustenance to this title scene. And I think Zaya and Elayna can be the catalysts for that. So I'm going with a new champ here. I've got my girl Elayna/Cora to take the title.
Wow. All right then. Interesting thoughts. That being said, ballot's been set for a new champion. We're going to go around the horn here clockwise, I guess, then from there. And you know what? Fuck it. No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, my show. X. Charles, you're next. Plus, I don't think I've done you and JJ back in this matter. What are your thoughts towards this? Yes, Elayna Black is from Chicago. Yes, Elayna Black is one of the ones that Daria Ray first signed for this. And yes, at the forefront, we are talking about the TNA X World Championship. And we know Elayna Black is not a great makeup artist. Apparently, when Zaya Brookside woke up and saw what she did to her a couple weeks ago, that's why she said the fun and games is over. But again, for Zaya Brookside, she has also proven her merit as the knockout, and quite aggressively so, quite confidently, and quite effectively. Again, this is really her third defense. Do you think that all of a sudden this is a new champion here in Chicago? Or do we find this maybe going further, much like Frankie, Kazarian, and Moose, where we've seen what lengths Zaya will go to? Remember, championship advantage. Title can always have to be a pinfall submission inside the ring. If some sort of shenanigan or tomfoolery happens that Zaya takes advantage of, jury is out whether or not she truly beat Elayna Black, but she still leads with the gold. So what do you think, Charles? Do you got a new champion, or does Zaya retain?
Zaya's going to Bound for Glory as the champion. That's the only outcome I see out of this. Because realistically, I'm still expecting someone to win that title. And it's probably going to be a Bound for Glory.
Really?
Yep. And JJ literally mentioned the third name when in regards to the Knockouts title thing. Picture of the world.
That would be, I think, like her third chance, I think, at the title, and I think her second one at Bound for Glory, actually. So maybe? And again, she's out of that tournament, so I mean, and again, the reason she lost her match against them by Elegance was due to Zaya and Elayna's brawling. So I kind of can understand where you're coming from. So that being said, you got Zaya retaining.
Yep. Zaya's retaining. Going to Bound for Glory champ.
Okay,
I'll stand by that.
Okay, I love when we're partisan. And that leaves Walter then to split the bout in the meantime. Walter, what do you think here? I mean, again, looking at the evolution of the Knockouts division over the years and talking about these names, and ironically enough, Indy Hartwell, Elayna Black, and one other name I can't think of. They were involved, of course, in that triple threat at the countdown of the last year, which I think was Slammiversary. And now we're talking about two of those names being the top echelon of the TNA Knockouts World Championship scene. When they were there with Tracy Brooks, of course, presented the TNA Knockouts Television Championship. So that being said, Walter, what do you think about this? Do you got a new champion, or do you have Zaya Brookside retaining?
I think Chicago fades to black. I think Slater so far was the only title change I predicted. So here's my second one. I think Elayna Black wins in her hometown and beats Zaya. I don't think Zaya was ever meant to have like a long run for her initial run. So I do feel like she'll be a multi-time champion, but yeah, I think this feud is going to go back and forth for the title. And like JJ said, if it makes sense, I don't mind a little bit of hot potatoing as long as they keep it making sense. But the word sense in the same statement as wrestling, it's a lot to ask for. But I think Elayna Black wins the title here.
All right, fair enough. Well, Zaya Brookside has been the TNA Knockouts World Champion since Slammiversary. That was back at the end of June. And like I said, this is her third defense. She's already gone through a wicked no disqualification match. And she hung pretty deep there with Wendy Chu till she dropped her that dark side DDT. Now Zaya Brookside taking the leading heel role of the Knockouts division, while Elayna Black might take now a humble, more so earned and respected babyface role, especially in front of her hometown faithful in Chicago. I kind of can understand both your points, but again, here's my thing though. We just talked about this is the show before Bound for Glory. I would think a big culminating moment for a new champion, especially the Knockouts World Championship, would happen more so at, let's call it what it is, one of their big four, if not their biggest of the big four, Bound for Glory. It's their biggest show of the year. And I feel like Elayna Black or Indy Hartwell have been bound for this milestone since being part of TNA. But the fact of the matter is, thinking about, again, inside steel cage, anything could also go inside there. Xia Brookside can be as evil, manipulated as possible. And if you looked at Elayna Black's past cage history, not great. Remember when Io Shirai had to like pop her shoulder in place? I remember. But I just don't know. I just don't think right now that Elayna Black, just now seeming like the babyface here, is going to get it. I think the character turn is too soon to be a factor towards her becoming the champion, despite the fact we're not in Bizarro World, we're in Chi-Town. But it might as well be Bizarro World when it comes to TNA wrestling or anybody that's related to, I'm from Chicago, So I think that Xia not only wins, she further beats her down, and you set up the multi-person match that JJ may have been talking about. I think it's going to be a triple threat now with Indy, Elayna, and Xia at Bound for Glory. And I think that is going to find the TNA Knockouts World Championship scene. Now, like I said, Buffer, Fall Person, whose character developed further, who truly deserves to call into the TNA Knockouts World Championship. I think Bound for Glory tells the future of the top of the Knockouts division versus Lockdown. So with that in mind, I have it going Xia Brookside retaining. Sorry, JJ. I just don't think Elayna Black right now with the character change so soon should get the moment, but should have a hell performance. So I got to go with Xia right now. Xia to the dark side. Xia retains.
So, okay. I may be coming way out of left field.
Go for it.
Like I'm talking like the cornfields of a league of their own. You know, if you build it, they will come. Watching the players walk out as, you know.
Field of Dreams. I recognize the reference. Continue.
The pay-per-view is where?
Chicago.
They have a partnership with who? TNA has a partnership with who?
The Fed.
Elayna Black / Cora Jade is known as a daughter of
Punk,
who is from
Chicago. It's like a Chicago takeover.
Is there any chance in hell we get an AJ Lee or a CM Punk sighting here? I know those type of things would traditionally be saved for a Bound for Glory or a Slammiversary. But Punk is about that cheap pop. He's got history in TNA. Is there any chance in hell?
I mean, there's always
that even just as a fake out, maybe his music hits to distract Xia, allowing Elayna to get the victory, just to, you know, she's this good girl in Chicago, but what a great way to get some heel heat back on her. You know, just, I don't know, like there's highly unlikely in all likelihood,
quote unquote, Aaron Rift,
as our good buddy Aaron Rift would say, and shout out to him for allowing us to be on his broadcasts. That's probably why we're at 104 for tonight, Simply Predicting.
And thank everybody for listening to the end.
Just spitballing here.
No, I get it. It's always worthwhile to say that, especially with the fact that, like I said, we're just getting closer and closer to WWE saying acquisition and TNA wrestling in the same sentence.
And I love to speak those things on this, because then when people go online afterwards and are like, if any of you try to claim you saw that coming, you're full of shit.
Accurate.
It's like, I can bring up the clip of me talking about it as a possibility and be like, oh, so I'm full of shit for saying that I called this? Motherfucker, 2 hours, 3 minutes, 48 seconds into this Simply Predicting video, I'm literally talking about this as a possibility. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, this is the true countdown, folks. It's not even before the show starts. Just saying, you get raw, real, unfiltered emotions and what ifs that actually have a 0.01% chance of happening, but damn it, they could still happen. And I endorse this type of madness and conversation. But that being said, never say never. But also, like I said, this is TNA, and if they're supposed to be the alternative, they're supposed to not act like the Fed. So we'll see what happens. But regardless, good luck to both, and I hope that they tear the house down in Chicago without causing a riot. Unless they want to riot in the cage. I don't care about that.
Here's another good what if for everybody outside of wrestling, since we've got, Charles with us, who pops out of the sewers every now and again.
Past midnight.
What if Hamato Yoshi led the Foot Clan and Oroku Saki trained the Turtles?
I should have saw that coming.
Think about it. Think about that as a what if.
A lot of what ifs to come, but one thing's for certain. Go ahead, Charles.
Just think about how unhinged the Turtles would have been if the man who became Shredder trained them.
I am your father.
Oh yeah, that would made me go. Okay, I have a question. I'm done now.
I'm about to say, look, if Iron Man, freaking Robert Downey Jr. can become the anti-hero against the freaking Marvel Avengers now as Doom, I think anything's possible with screwing up a person's childhood or screwing up a good guy that turns out to be a bad guy because of his own freaking Bushido or his code, or just because he wants to. Sometimes being bad is actually fun. I should know. That being said, what are your thoughts, folks, regarding Lockdown, Lethal Lockdown? What are you hoping to see come out of the cage in TNA as we forge towards Bound for Glory? Do you have new champions from Chi-Town or from the away team? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that is TNA Lockdown, so let's go ahead and bid everybody a fine adieu and do some shills before we conclude. First and foremost, because he had to probably drop out because his device went to GTS on him, I want to give a shout again. Congratulations to his 300 subscriber milestone to the Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz. You can follow him there at the mothership, if you will, at the Rage of Wrestling, or of course on the X at Walter Alex Cruz. Stay tuned when Kim and the missus get up to some hot stuff with chicken wings, and I will be emceeing as their livers will be scorching. Again, congratulations. Follow him today. Get that subscriber count to 400. Let's see what other crazy milestone he can get up to. Again, subscribe. Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz. Get it, bueno. As that says, the Tune Nueves told you so. Appreciate you, Walter. See you next time. All right. That being said, Charles, while your brain right now might be sub-fried, let's go ahead and remind the people where they can find you. Note to self, JJ. Make us TMMT graphic. Otherwise, I'll get ChatGPT to do it. Charles, where can people find and engage with you?
You can find me on X at Truth or Grendel. And make sure you believe with JC, damn it.
Never.
Or be cursed.
Never. I don't believe in curses. I believe in faith and fate. That being said, the fate of the TNA X World Championship is in good hands, considering it's only staying in TNA. And that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah. Shout out to Eli Drake, former GFW champion. That title was so ugly, though. Ugh. Anyway, thank you, Charles. Well, JJ, again, the work never stops, but sometimes our mindsets need to come to a rest and stop. And I know we're both looking forward to that. As I always said, always appreciate you. Let's go ahead and bring up to speed on the Cinema Studios and where people can further engage and find you. Go ahead, put up your graphic. Damn it.
You can find me and all my illustrious. Get the banner off there. I keep taking it down for a reason.
I put it up so people are encouraged to do it. Propaganda, man. It's probably it's advertising. Besides, it's not like it's covering anything actually important. Continue.
You can find me and all my illustrious Chase University brothers and sisters.
Undergrad University.
Follow me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams, on YouTube Casa D18 Studios, X Casa D18 Studio without the X. Make sure you're following the Simply Reliable Studios on the X at SR Studios 2024. Your boy has been a busy man lately, working the internet, working the emails, working the Twitter and Instagram DMs. Go back into the archives across the Simply Reliable Studios and check out our interview with Manuel Fabian, president of Future of Women's Wrestling, where we will be sponsoring Top Tier Jasmine Allure this Saturday in Anaheim. I will be there front row for that show as a thank you for sponsoring. Sponsors get front row tickets. So
Nice.
I will say, and this is no disrespect intended to Manuel, probably not our best interview that we've put out there. He seemed kind of nervous, being in front of the camera, having to put his company over.
That's fair.
Some of the questions was like pulling to get stuff out of him, but very kind man, very generous man, messaged me immediately after talking about how fun the interview was and how much he enjoyed the fact that we gave him the platform. So shout out to Manuel. I look forward to seeing him on Saturday. But going forth from there, and I noticed that one graphic didn't get uploaded, so give me uno momento, because that's why I didn't bump it up. That's why.
You gotta organize stuff, JJ. It makes things easier.
I try to keep things organized in my folder, but this one literally was confirmed this morning, and then I went out to go start doing stuff, so I didn't have a chance to organize it. But next week on the Simply Reliable Studios, I have officially dubbed it the GCW Young Lions Week. Tuesday, the 25th, we will be talking to Junie Underwood, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And on Thursday, the 27th, we will be interviewing Sturdy Sal Mistretta. Both men who have been featured heavily in the GCW Scramble matches, which are a staple of GCW shows, usually unannounced. First or second match on the card, an opportunity to get the youngsters that are really trying to get established, get their names out there, a chance to show what they can do.
I love that.
These men featured on a bunch of shows here recently. Junie, for a while, we've had our eye on. Sturdy Sal has just kind of come up here the last couple months, going back to their show at Coney Island, which I want to say was June, or no, it was July. It was 4th of July, 5th of July.
Okay.
So Sturdy has only kind of been here the last month and a half, 2 months on our radar, but going to be looking forward to those. The week after, back-to-back nights of interviews. First, we are going to interview a woman who on Saturday will be challenging for the Future of Women's Wrestling Championship. So when we get her on September 1st, she could very well be the new Future Women's Wrestling Champion. You might recognize her from WOW Women of Wrestling, where she wrestled as Princess Aussie. She now just goes as Simone.
Oh, okay.
And then on Wednesday, September 2nd, we will have the Pro Wrestling Symphony champion, Colby Carter, on the show. Not only does he dip in Symphony, but he also wrestles on OVW, now run by Al Snow, the Louisville, Kentucky promotion that is responsible for the illustrious class of '02. John Cena, Randy Orton, Dave Bautista, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin. Victoria was in there as well, Rico Constantino. So many names. The Bashams.
Ah, the Bashams. There's a throwback.
And then the week after that, we will have one half of the new GCW World Tag Team Champions. Sam Stackhouse will be joining us. Very happy for this one. Walter actually worked the emails and the DMs and set this one up.
Nice.
Very proud of Walter getting this set up for us. And then on Thursday, September 10th, we will be having our first Zebra. Referee JC, I want to say you pronounce her last name Minray.
Looks like Minray to me. Yeah.
She usually just goes by JC, but her IG had the full name, so I just copied and pasted.
Respect
But
the stripes.
referee JC, our first Zebra will be on the show. She trained at the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. Santino Brothers, of course, best known for Bad Dude Tito from TMDK, and of course, Big Bad Brody King, amongst a plethora of others. And then a little birdie has told me that on the Sunday brunch shenanigans, we will be announcing another interview that has been locked in. A former WWE ID talent and WWE Evolve star is going to be joining us. Female, I will say that much. You know, so I'll let people out there suspect and conspiracize over who it is. The only other hint I will give as to who this person is that I know her as 3 different names. The name I first discovered her as, the name she wrestled on WWE ID/Evolve, and the name she's changed her gimmick to now that she's left WWE ID/Evolve, because she didn't go back to the original name. She picked a new one. So I know her as 3 different gimmicks, 3 different names, and that should be getting announced during the Sunday brunch shenanigans.
All right, good stuff. Well, keep on leaving an impact forward for the professional wrestling business through these great conversations, and I hope that you all continue to leave your impact with your viewership and support to all these great personalities, wrestlers, staff members, founders, company owners, as we continue to bring you the knowledge and the input and, of course, the passion and outlook on all these wrestling organizations. So, again, thank you, JJ. And as always, folks, you want to find me, good luck if you choose, try if you will, at mfoster1916 on the X or on YouTube. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. And boy, is it going to be a fun couple of weekends for me, because while I am not an interviewee, I am pretty much the voice of commentary. And I will bring you forward, starting off this weekend with Honor. Of course, I love Ring of Honor. You all know that. And one of my favorite forms is Death Before Dishonor. Matches we will be calling include not limited to the Virtuosa, Diana Perazzo, Long may she fucking reign, defending against, you recognize that person? Steph DeLander for the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship. Still undefeated, by the way, in Ring of Honor Pure Rules matches since the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Division was established underneath the Virtuosa. Long may she fucking reign as the only Pure Champion.
That's not the only title STL is going to be going after here in the next little bit, as she will be challenging Shotzi Blackheart for the House of Glory Women's Championship on September 4th.
The reign, JJ. The reign. And Friday, Leah Rush will show up. And Leah Rush will be defending, of course, his Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Action Andretti in a fight without honor. And, of course, the Ring of Honor men's return to be on the line. Unfortunately, Nigel McGuinness has not been medically cleared to compete. So now Lee Moriarty will defend the title against a former Ring of Honor Pure Champion, the wrestler, Katsuyori Shibata, after Shibata was able to put down Scrappy Yappy Wheeler Yuta. Also just made official a 4-way for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship. Sky Blue, Maria Shafir, Slater Steel, the real deal, will stir it up with Red Velvet. And, of course, Athena, who is the longest reigning champion in modern wrestling history right now, defends the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship against one of my favorites, Hazuki, the Wild Heart of Stardom.
I do want to say, go back to the Athena match, win or lose, and I have no doubt that our forever champion will retain here. Athena needs to be ready, because has been in the dungeon with Natty the last couple of weeks.
Who has
so
been?
Win or lose, she's going to be braining it, because you know the way Natty gets down when it comes to those dungeon sessions. Athena needs to be ready.
And Suzuki, of course, already disciplined in Stardom. Of course, a former Stardom tag team champion. And, of course, the most wanted Bandito would defend the Ring of Honor World Championship against the Prodigy Nick Wayne, former Ring of Honor World Television champion. That and so much more, literally in less than 48 hours at the Brookside, of course, exclusively available for Honor Club for $9.99. And we'll be coming to the Cibaba Studios. I think we're going live either 5:45 or 6:45 p.m. Standard Time. I have to double check. Also, Nina. and Queen Amanada, who have started their own tag team dynamic, will be involved in the 0 Hour, of course, taking on one of my favorites from the Texas area, Vert Vixen, ready up, not player one, but probably most dangerous boss or gamer. And she'll be teaming up against Viva Van. That and so much more coming this Friday. And of course, this weekend, like I said, Sunday night, we're covering Lockdown. Stay tuned for more on that. And again, if you want to follow that, $40 preview exclusively on TNA Plus. And then, of course, the predicting continues next week as we go all in, literally probably at the same time as we prepare for AEW's biggest show of the calendar year. Of course, so stay tuned for more details on that as the All Elite continues. And then me and Papa Gino will break it down the following Monday. I'm just going to break down for you updates. And also in conjunction with Bag for Wrestling and the Silverman's brand, stay tuned for the next simple session. We'll give our baddie outtake on G1 Climax and get up to some Monopoly shenanigans in the baddie game time. And that's all that's going on for right now in the Simple Man's brand. And all I got to say and plug for now, too, is I always like to remind you, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families and just your life, then enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, join the league if you haven't already. Leave your impact. Form will be down in the comment section below some point during Friday morning or afternoon, I assure you. But hit the bells if you're live on demand on any of the outlets here at the Simple Studios, or of course, follow us like you saw on the X. Hit the subscribe button. I assure you, content, creativity, predictions, passions, interviews, shenanigans, none of that stuff is going to that anytime soon. Again, this weekend shenanigans will be a special Sunday brush celebrating the Bragger Wrestling JJ Williams for his big milestone birthday. God bless you and happy birthday to you as he hits the big 5-0. So join us.
3 Eastern, noon Pacific, Sunday.
So join us, if you will, and let's have a toast as we get ready to celebrate JJ and dive into Lethal Lockdown and more with Lockdown this coming Sunday. Other than that, Saturday, just enjoy All Elite Wrestling, enjoy your evening, just take it easy. Honestly, do the same thing with your Friday unless you're following us, covering, of course, Different for Dishonor. As again, always appreciate y'all doing that. And that's all I gotta really say. So in the meantime, in Kenny Mega fashion, boy, did he go fucking ape shit on Wednesday. I love it. I bid you all now a fine adieu. For Walter Cruz, for Charles, for all of you in the chat, including Manuel Dominguez. Oh, and subtle note, I do need to say this as part of an apology. For giving you the Millionaire Klaxon deadline, you were out of time for your super chat about when will Naomi and Bianca Belair come back? We will adjust it on the Sunday brunch shenanigans. That much I will promise, even if I have to headline that conversation. Apologies to Manuel Advance, but again, I don't play around with shit like that. When I said deadline, damn it, I try and keep it. Okay, that being said, now that I got that out of the way, that's the only humility you're going to see. For Regular Wrestling JJ Williams, I am the Summon Noel Foster. Like to always remind and encourage you to make a positive impact in life. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sleepy Predicting. Let's go, folks, in the lockdown. Safely this time, not like 2020. And have a hell of a good time with TNA Wrestling. But first, honor is real and comes forward Friday. And until then, have a great one, folks. And we'll see you next time here in and out of the Simply Reliable Studios. Take care.